So earlier today, Peter Schrager of NFL Network put out his mock draft, and it was put out this morning, 8:43 a.m. It says here, Peter Schrager 2024 mock 1.0, Giants leap up for J.J. McCarthy, Vikings stick and pick cornerback and quarterback. So I'm going to quickly go through these first few picks, and then we'll get to the Packers pick near the end of the round one, and I'll give my thoughts on that. So first off, he has Caleb Williams, number 1, Jaden Daniels, number 2 to Washington, Drake May to the Patriots, J.J. McCarthy to the Giants at 4. I guess a trade there takes place. So starting off, he thinks with 4 different quarterbacks, and based on history, maybe 50% of those guys pan out as solid quarterbacks. We'll see. Then we got Marvin Harrison, number 5 to the Chargers, Roma Dunze to the Cardinals at 6, Joe Alt to the Titans. We jumped randomly there. Dallas Turner, edge rusher to the Falcons. Malik Neighbors, receiver to the Colts at 9. Brock Bowers, tight end, Jets at 10. Terrion Arnold, cornerback at 11. Edge Laiatu Latu to the Broncos. Fashanu, offensive tackle to the Raiders. Taliese Fuaga to the Saints at 14, offensive tackle. Another offensive tackle, J.C. Latham to the Bears. Troy Fautano, offensive lineman to the Seahawks at 16. Kenyon Mitchell, cornerback to the, where we go there? Jaguars. Byron Murphy to the Bengals at 18. Tyler Guyton, another offensive tackle for the Rams at 19. So a ton of tackles projected to go in this first round. Brian Thomas, receiver to the Steelers. Jared Verse, edge to the Dolphins at 21. Cooper DeJean gone at number 22 to the Eagles, who is a player who's been mocked to the Packers a lot. If they want him, they may have to trade up. It seems that way. So we'll see if they want to do that. Do they want to have a versatile type player, safety, corner, hybrid, potentially? Then we got Bo Nix at 23 to the Vikings, which would make it interesting in the NFC North. Half the NFC North getting new quarterbacks with Caleb Williams and Bo Nix, with Kirk Cousins gone. Then we have Xavier Worthy, the pick before the Packers, wide receiver at 24. And then here we have the Packers pick at 25. We have Amarius Mims, Georgia offensive tackle, who has been mocked to the Packers a few different times, because I know in some past videos we've already talked about him. But here's what Schrager says. A massive offensive tackle at nearly 6'8", 340 pounds. Mims has tremendous upside despite a lack of experience at Georgia, 8 total starts. He's shown enticing flashes in big games. This is a deep wide receiver and O-line draft. The Packers got plenty of production out of their young receivers and tight ends last season. They bypass taking a first-round wideout and grab a gifted offensive tackle prospect. And I think for the Packers this draft, I don't think there's that much of a glaring need necessarily. I think there's a lot of different things, as I've said, that could make sense. We still need, I think, some more depth at linebacker. We still need another safety. But I don't know if it's taking a safety in round 1 is the smartest decision. Maybe wait till round 2 or 3. Edge rusher could always make sense. But the Packers are loaded on offense outside of offensive line, receiver, tight end. I don't think there's any need to draft anyone there early because of all the investment the Packers have put into both the receiver core and tight end the past couple seasons. Of course, Jordan Love, we don't need a quarterback, even though maybe Gutekunst drafts one late to bring in another backup to bring in there for training camp and all that kind of stuff. But I do think the Packers, they need some more offensive line depth. And as we've talked about, the Packers haven't done this, taken an offensive lineman since 2011 in round 1, so it would definitely be going off of what they typically do. But when you do look at the fact that there are some other positional needs, like linebacker, safety, I don't know if that makes sense in round 1. And so the Packers could go with a guy like Mims, who has upside, and when it comes to the Packers, they're always very good at developing offensive line talent, and so maybe they see him as a top 10 type prospect. He didn't have a ton of experience at Georgia, as Schrager mentioned, so maybe they think they can get a steal there because he doesn't have a ton of experience, and maybe they can get him to that point where he can be an elite offensive lineman, offensive tackle in the NFL. And then at that point, you have some more flexibility on the offensive line. You could move Rasheed Walker to maybe right tackle. You could maybe move Zach Tom to guard or center if you get Mims and think that he can be out there, potentially be your left tackle or right tackle. It does give them more flexibility, and there's always injuries on the offensive line and with the rest of the team. So definitely needed offensive line depth. The Packers last year didn't get any offensive linemen in the draft, and years prior they had gotten 3 or so nearly every single year with Brian Gutekunst, or lots of years with Brian Gutekunst. And so it's definitely time to bolster this unit. And I'm fine with the offensive line pick in round 1. And there's not many picks, honestly, in round 1 when it comes to, positionally that would upset me. That's at least what I think right now. We'll see if draft night comes and maybe something happens that I'm shocked by. But if we go quarterback, I'd say bad move. Odds are that's not going to happen. If that happened, it's not going to happen, but that would make no sense. But that's pretty much it. Just wanted to share that. I'll finish off here. Graham Barton, offensive lineman, 26 to the Buccaneers. Darius Robinson, defensive lineman, 27 to the Cardinals. We got Adonai Mitchell, wide receiver to the Bills at 28. Zach Frazier, interior O-line, the Lions at 29. Kool-Aid McKinstry at 30 to the Ravens. And then Ladd McConkey, wide receiver to the Niners at 31. And then to end off the first round, Jalen Polk, wide receiver to the Chiefs at 32. But if you want more Packers content, feel free to turn on the post notifications down below so you never miss any news. And I'll see you guys next time.